All right. Welcome everybody back to the 2024 CUSA Kickoff presented by Sideline Design. We're joined by JAX State head coach Rich Rodriguez and student athletes Sean Brown and J. Swain. We're going to start with an opening statement from Coach before we open to questions. Those on Zoom, please raise your hands. We'll get to you after we're done in the room. Coach?
Okay. Thank you all for being here. Like everybody else, we're excited to get the season started. It's a neat venue they got here. Everything looks new, and I know there's a lot of other things coming around close to this campus. So it's exciting. I got two outstanding players with us, two guys that I felt should be here, not only because they're seniors and they're leaders, but they've been with us the whole time, all 3 years now at JAX State, and been leaders since the day I arrived on campus. So we're excited about our season like everybody else. You know, we have a lot of new guys. We had, I think, 11 or 12 seniors last year. It was a small senior class, but every one of them was a starter and a big contributor. Like everybody, we lost a few guys in the portal, but gained more out of the portal. But more than anything else, that we think our culture was started or created, a few years ago. And every decision we make, everything we do is not, we want to make sure we don't, change our culture in any way, shape, or form. And so we think that it's going on. Our guys have had a good summer. I think Conference USA has done a great job of not only staying viable but growing. I think what Judy and Trey and everybody else has done in our conference is think outside the box a little bit with the midweek games. The profile of our league has gotten better. Certainly what Liberty did last year, getting a New Year's Six game and representing our conference. I think you look at also some of our non-conference games in Conference USA, obviously with New Mexico State beating Auburn. We had South Carolina down to the last 2 minutes. And some of our other non-conference games, teams perform very well. So it's a really good league, getting better. I know it's expanding a little bit. Who knows what's going to go on in college football in the next few years. And like I told my coaching staff, seems like the goalposts are moving every year. We just got to move with it. And we're prepared to do that. We're getting ready to move hopefully very soon into our new facility, which we've been waiting 3 years to do. And so that's really exciting. But more than anything else, I know I'm anxious, and my coaching staff is anxious to work with these guys. We've got a great group of young men, good football players, guys that love football, that work really hard and represent JAX State in the right way.
All right, we'll open to questions. All right, here in the middle.
Coach T.P. Hammock from AHSFHS. A lot of people did not expect y'all to do what y'all did last year, make it to a bowl game, win a bowl game, and now you have gone from the hunter to the hunted. Talk about how it is as coaching, trying to, continue building on and continue to go higher than expectations.
Yeah, that's a good question. We talked a little bit about it. We don't talk a whole lot about winning and losing or expectations. We talk about maybe the first day of camp, and then after that, we just kind of concentrate on what we got to do that day to get better. But, I think we were ahead of schedule. I think it might have been the first team to ever be in a bowl in the first year they're bowl eligible and win it. And so really proud. We won a lot of close games. Our guys hung in there and really believed it. I think we're probably ahead of schedule as far as when you transition from 1AA to 1A or FCS to FBS. But I think our guys expect more as well. And again, we won't talk a whole lot about our rankings wherever we're preseason rated, because we didn't talk or think about that a whole lot last year or the year before that. But at the same time, our expectation is to be better this year than we were last year. I think we'll continue to get better every year. But it's going to take great senior leadership, obviously great play from our guys that have got some experience. And then, frankly, we've got a lot of new guys on both sides of the ball that are going to be in key roles. And, they've had to adapt to our culture. They've had to learn what we're doing. They're still got to learn what we're doing. But, I'm excited where we're at. We got in when we moved to Division 1A 3 years ago, when we had the plan and moved up last year. We thought we had a chance to be competitive, but we really didn't know. Our guys hadn't played that schedule, and it was exciting. I think we always say that all the time. JAX State football is much-watched TV. It's going to be exciting one way or another. So I hope people will tune into us.
Right in the front.
Coach Steve Richardson from Football Writers Association. Just want to ask you about Clay Webb, and he's being. We also do the Outland Trophy, obviously. So, can you talk about? He's being ranked as one of the top guys in the country. Can you just talk a little bit about his play and why he is that?
Yeah, Clay's a good football player. I'll talk about it because Clay will never talk about it. He won't say. I think Clay might be the only guy that still has a flip phone. That's how old school he is, right? But, when he transferred in, he's a local guy that transferred in from Georgia with opportunity to play more, and he's gotten better every day. He still hasn't played his best football yet. Our line coach, Rick Trickett, is one of the best in the business, has done a great job with him. Clay's one of the strongest guys on our team, and he gets to practice against J-Rock and some of these guys every day and getting better. So I'm glad he's getting recognition. I think we got other guys that deserve some recognition, and I think Clay will be a better football player this year than he was last year. So he's got an opportunity. And I thought when you move up, obviously in you Division I, you want to have more people, particularly professional leagues, looking at your guys. And whether it's these two guys or Clay or a couple other seniors that we have, I think we'll have more guys at practice, more pro guys watching our games, paying attention, and we got a chance to get a few guys drafted. And I don't think that you ask our players, that's not their first goal. Our first goal is to win championships and go to bowl games and win that. But I hope they have an aspiration to keep playing football because we got some guys that are good enough to do that, and Clay's one of them.
All right, we'll jump to the back.
Coach Tony Thomas, College Football Dogs. I remember when you were the OC at Tulane. When y'all,
that's just a few years ago.
When y'all went undefeated, and I was at Southern Miss, and y'all come to Hattiesburg and just run up and down the field on us with Sean King and everybody. But you bring back two of your top rushers this year. They combined for 13 rushing touchdowns. How important is somebody like Clay Webb, as Steve had mentioned, running behind that guy? And I mean, Clay Webb being the only Conference USA player named to the Walter Camp All-American team. Yeah,
I'm glad Clay's getting a lot of recognition, but the guy to my left is probably just as important as any of them. Sean Brown's the best blocking tight end I've ever coached. And we were talking about earlier, he's not, a lot of tight ends, they're okay with blocking. They know it's part of the job. Sean relishes it. I mean, he wants to put his face on people. So, and I've had some really good ones over the years, and this guy's the most physical and the best one we've got. So that obviously adds to our run game. We've been good up front. We've always had good running backs. We've always had quarterbacks that are willing to run, some that have been really, really fast. And that's going to be part of our game. But we don't know who our starting quarterback is going to be yet. We have an idea who's going to be in the mix. But we're going to play with 11 and let those guys run. And then our guys up front will work hard. They'll be in shape. Coach Tricker will have them ready. And it's not just Sean as a tight end, but I think our wideouts take great pride in blocking as well. P.J. Wells is one of our wide receivers, might be the best blocking receiver that I've ever had, or at least one of the best. And so it all kind of ties into helping us have success.
In the back.
Coach Nick Pierce from Liberty Radio. Congrats on the success you guys had last year. I ask you this question. It's a little off the beaten path, but it's relevant with everything going on today. I ask you this just because you've been a head coach for so long and many different levels. NIL, roster turnover, transfer portal, you've been around the game for so long. If you could script it, what would be the best avenue for college football to take now to help? I think Nick Saban said that his staff was working, I don't know how many days it was out of the year, but like coaching staffs are working more than they ever have. What's the best way for coaches, for student athletes to be able to retain and keep teams together?
Yeah, that's a good loaded question. I could talk. How much time do we have? I could talk forever. I've got my own opinions, and I'm not afraid to address it. I think, it's kind of inevitable what was going on down the road. I think the NCAA saw it, but, they were so afraid of, having to pay back pay, which they're going to do now. And I don't want to say it was mismanaged, but it was probably mismanaged overall. I think over the years, the people they should have talked to the most as far as legislation in college athletics, college football, are the coaches. Because they all think, why should I? Well, the coaches are the ones that know what the players need. They know what programs need. But either way, it is what it is. And so I tell our coaches, we can complain about it and not be happy. I'm glad players are getting more. They should have gotten more previously. But I don't know how you can have a player getting money and not be under contract. They talk about coaches moving. Hey, coaches move all the time for either. Well, they have contracts. If they break a contract, you got to pay it. I mean, hell, I know all about that. But I think these guys, sharing some of the revenue is a good thing. But I think they should be under contract, and there should be like salary cap. And the most successful athletic league in the world is probably the NFL, right? And people don't realize the amount of rules that they have regarding tampering, contracts, free agency, and whatever. And they have success, and they go by the rules. We got to have more rules. We got to have more kind of a salary cap. We got to, there's ways to get our players bigger piece of the pie without having this, open kind of ended deal with no structure. And so I think they're trying to I think the powers that be understand that. They're trying to get some structure, but there needs to be more structure if you want competitive fairness amongst everybody, which there's always going to be haves and have-nots, but the separation is going to be a little bit wider. But I still think it comes down to having really good players play really hard. That's the key to success. And our NIL and our transfer portal and the issues that we have in a group of five is not nearly, I think, as heightened or anxiety as there is in some of the Power Four, but it's still affecting all of us. And I think we're in a spot that we can do things better. It's be better for the players, better for the programs, better for the schools, better for coaches. But I ask that you put more coaches and have them more authority in making these decisions, because I think we've been around long enough that we can help, do what's fair and what's right.
In the front.
Question for Sean and a follow-up to my man on the end here. Sean, he says you like to get physical, and so on the line. You're not just out there to catch passes. So the point I would like to know about, have these teams you played against been surprised at how physical you guys obviously have been in how you performed last year and did what you did?
I don't know if it's been too much of a surprise. I think everybody knows that we're very heavy on the run, and we've been successful with it for the past 3 years that Rich Rod's been here. So, I mean, being able to do that, it makes you not have to worry about so many other things. And, I think we all take pride in it, like he was saying with PJ. Even our receivers take pride in blocking. And like he said, it's to help us be successful.
And J-Rock, on your kind of the same kind of question, when you come out against teams that you thought they might beat you or are going to beat you up, and you take pride in being able to show them, well, we may be a new kid on the block here, maybe a little bit, but we can handle ourselves?
When you look at measurements, I would say it would be a surprise when you turn on tape. We all not the biggest, but may not be the fastest. But I think we all come out and play hard. Everybody run to the ball, play fast, especially on defense and offense too. They play very fast. But I feel like a lot of teams do be surprised, but we just play fast and physical. That's what we taught to do.
In the front.
Hey, Coach. Kevin Bra from Sports Illustrated. Just talk to us a little bit about your quarterback room. I know you brought in UConn transfer Zion Turner. Just what has stood out about him, and then some others as well.
Yeah, we got 8 quarterbacks. A lot of people ask me, why do you got 8 quarterbacks? Because got to find 2 or 3 that can play. And we do have. We have some great competition. Logan Smothers is a veteran, played last year in his first year with us. And then we brought in Tyler Huff as a transfer from Furman that I think is really good. And Zion Turner is a transfer from Connecticut that I think is pretty good. Those are the 3 upperclassmen, the older guys. But we still have Caden Creel and who's a young guy, redshirted last year. Got Tayshawn Smoot, who's a young guy in the program. And so there's it's hard. A lot of coaches will fret how you can't give everybody reps. But the way we do things, the way we structure practice, all of our guys get a lot of reps. We pack a lot of reps into a short amount of time. Now, you can't play 2 at the same time or 3 at the same time typically, but I wouldn't hesitate. If I have 3 that are good enough to win with, I'll play 3 in a game. If I had 4, I'll play 4 in a game. So I'm a little bit unconventional in thinking, well, you just got to play one guy, let him go. I don't want him to go out there and be worried. If I make a mistake, I get pulled. It's not like that. But at the same time, if they're proved to me or us that they're good enough to win with, we'll play them all. And so those 3 upperclassmen, I'm really excited because their competition is going to make them all better. And all 3 of them, I think, are good enough to help us win.
All right. We'll jump to Zoom with Mark Edwards.
Rich, could you talk about
Mark,
getting...
where you at? On Zoom? Where's he at?
Yes, I'm on Zoom.
Okay. I'll just look straight ahead just in case. Okay.
Okay. Could you talk about having Ron Wiggins back?
Yeah, it's good to have Ronnie. He's a local guy, and typically, when guys get in the portal, I'm just like, okay, they're nothing to us. We move on. But I think Ronnie was probably misled a little bit in certain ways, and knew that it was really his home to be at JAX State. And he's had a good career, but I think his best football is still out there with him and Anwar Lewis, Q Lewis. We have two guys now that have been in our system for 3 years. And I can tell that by their summer workouts and what they did in spring practice and all that we're going to have two veterans that we can do more things with. And we'll run the ball. We'll play like quarterbacks. I'm certainly not afraid to play multiple running backs. And Ronnie and Anwar Lewis and we got a whole room full now. And in the spring, remember we were down to 1 or 2 guys. And now we've got 6 or 8 that are compete for it. And Ron and Anwar are the 2 veterans.
All right, the front right here.
Coach, Tim Capps from Football Writers. Liberty's favored to win the conference, but you're nipping on their heels. How do you catch them?
Hell, I don't pay any attention to that anyway. I don't do a lot of nipping either. You do any nipping? I don't do not much nipping, but Liberty deserves it. I mean, they've been good. What Jamie's done there is amazing. They've got tremendous skill coming back, and certainly the kind of year they had last year. I just what we want to do is be better than we were a year ago. Last year we were better than we were the year before, and we had a harder schedule. Obviously we moved up, and so this year we want to be better than last year. But I don't know yet because we have so many new guys coming, and we got to stay healthy, and there's got to things fall in line. But I think I hope our guys' goal every year is to win the conference. We even talked about last year. We were picked way in the bottom, but we still wanted to have a goal to win the conference. We didn't do it, but we were pretty competitive. This year, we'll have that same goal, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But then after practice starts, I think these guys will tell you they're not thinking about beating Liberty in August. They're just thinking about getting through practice, getting through this practice so they get ready to get through the next practice, and that's kind of what our focus will be.
Thank you.
All right, time for one last question here in the middle.
Coach, you are now in a conference where it spans from Virginia all the way to New Mexico, and next year it will span from Delaware all the way to New Mexico. And I asked the Kennesaw State coach, I'm going to ask you, do you see that what type of challenges does it bring to be in a conference that is just so wide? And do you see that, like he does, as an opportunity to expand your brand as Jacksonville State?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. Conference USA, right? They're not saying conference regional, eastern, southeastern, or something, whatever it is. So, yeah, I think that's typical of the sign of the times. I think it's a smart move to keep our conference viable and try to grow, which we are. And our school's growing too. Jacksonville State has always kind of looked maybe as a regional school in the southeast and a great part of the country. But I want us to make us a national brand. There's no better school to go to in the South, in my opinion. And you talk about the quality of education, the things that are in town. I think we might be the smallest town in Division I football. I think we may be that. What that doesn't I think that's a good thing. We've got a great campus and great environment. So JAX State, the brand of JAX State, we hope it's growing. It's growing now faster than it's ever grown, and we hope that it'll continue to do that. And Conference USA's helped. Obviously, not just the games we play, but the exposure we get TV-wise. The midweek games, and these guys could probably attest to it. Sometimes it could be a little bit of a challenge, but our guys have handled it well. I think our league has handled it great, and as I said, it's must-watch TV. You want to get entertained? You must be entertained. Watch JAX State football.